What large company was shut down because of one bad decision?
Schlitz Beer once tried to increase their bottom line by using cheaper ingredients. Result? Poorer quality, including a slimy mucus at the bottom of the bottles, which in turn caused sales to drop hard. They reversed back to the old ingredients, but the customer base never trusted them again, and Schlitz died off.
Radio Shack trying to compete with Best Buy in bigger ticket consumer electronics rather than sticking to what they did best. I worked there in the early, mid-00s, and you could feel the downfall as it was happening.
A radio station I used to listen to recently changed their format from 80% music, 20% talk show to 100% talk show. Then they were like, oh, you can still listen to the music, but it's only going to be on our app.
Our IM thought iPhone were no threat to the more business-oriented BlackBerry.
Sears refused to expand into e-commerce despite them fully having the capacity to do so in the early 2000s. Same could also be said of Blockbuster and their refusal to embrace streaming video.
Sears refused to expand into e-commerce despite them fully having the capacity to do so in the early 2000s. Same could also be said of Blockbuster and their refusal to embrace streaming video.
Vine was the TikTok of its day, and then Twitter bought it and decided there was no profit in it.
Blitz USA Inc., they made gas cans, car ramps, that sort of thing. They refused to add a simple screen to their gas cans that would prevent flashover. Even after multiple lawsuits, even after not being able to use their own fuel containers on their own production floors due to OSHA regs, now they don't exist. It's almost a case of corporate suicide. BlackBerry had killer phones but never adapted to smartphone era.
Circuit City, when they decided to fire 3,400 seasoned employees and replace them with high school kids who will work for less, thinking it was a smart business move.
Not shut down, but Tumblr taking off their site wasn't a sound business move.
Yellow Trucking bought out a bunch of smaller companies and never bothered to consolidate them into a single entity. Each one would operate independently as a subsidiary. Not only did this force them to take on loads of debt, but it also put them at odds with the Teamsters, who had active agreements with each company prior to the buyouts. They never recovered from this move and relied heavily on the Teamsters to negotiate pay, benefit cuts for its members for the next decade and a half. When the union rejected the latest concession proposal earlier this year, the company shut down and blamed the union for its own incompetence.
Eastman Kodak's decision to not get into digital come to mind.
Barings Bank was around from the 1700s until the 1990s, when some kid in Singapore made a trade that cost them $1 billion United States dollars. I think that's my best example that comes to mind.
The Live Strong Foundation.
Gerald Ratner.
Well work.